Don't you ever be sad. Lean on me in times of bad. When the day comes and you're down, and I'm in trouble, and I'm back to drown. Just hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, I'm coming. I'm on my way. If you get cold, yeah, I will be your cover. Don't have to worry, 'cause I'm here. Don't need to suffer, baby, 'cause I'm here. Just hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, I'm coming. Look at it. Reach out to me for satisfaction, yeah. Look at here, Dave. That's all she got to do. Call my name, yeah. For reaction, yeah, yeah, Now don't you ever be sad. Lean on me when the times are bad. When the day comes and you're down, baby, the river trouble and I'm bound to drown out. Just hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, don't you worry, I'm coming. Here we come. Hold on, back to say I'm coming. Hold on, don't you worry.
In the far distant land of common sense, a place where we all once lived, you'll find the Conservative College with Professor Toto. It is here where the foundational principles of our great republic are still taught and true patriots are still educated in the hallowed halls of this school of hope. Just like the iconic puppy from The Wizard of Oz, who found great joy in pulling back the curtain on the lies of the wizard, so does Professor Toto. Grab your seats and welcome to the Conservative College. Class begins now.
To coast and shore to shore. Good evening, everybody, my fellow Americans, fellow patriots. It is 8 o'clock Central, and I am your humble, neighborhood, friendly, fluffy professor, Professor Toto, and I have been waiting to talk to you guys for a week. Just seemed like it's been forever. Welcome. Here's the situation. The internet here is horrible at our hotel. So the truth is, I have a wonderful show laid out for tonight, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it because the internet is horrendous. And I don't want to waste your time or mine. You said I sound great and look great? Yeah? Well, the wife says we sound great and look great. So if everybody's in agreement with it, I'll try to do a show tonight. I just didn't think, yeah, okay. Okay. Let's see. Everybody says I'm coming in good. Okay, wife is right. All right. Well, I just did a speed test on the internet and it was so bad, I was afraid that we wouldn't be able to do a show here tonight. Well, if that's the case, let's get it started in high. Hallelujah. Hello, Marion Peters. Hello. Let's see. Who is Alan Shares? Let's see. Let's see. Amen. Good evening, everybody. Let's see here. And then we've got, oh, Lord, people here from everywhere tonight. Bruce McNaughton. And then Kathy Brewer. Hello, Kathy. Elaine Peterson. Hello, Elizabeth Brody. Hello, Sister Brody. Triple T Tony. Hello, Carmine Diorsi. Wow. Christy. Hello, Christy. Nancy Ruff. Jeffrey. Robin. Hello, Kathy. Hello, Donna and John Berlin. Thank you, Miss Molly. Good golly, Miss Molly. Hello, Maureen LaQuire and Woodstock and Patricia and David Urbrock and Michelle Ames. Hello, Michelle. Tom Chambers, Susan Morgan, Ruth Rosario. My Lord, let's see who we've got on Roku tonight. I want to say hello to all of our Roku viewers. Nearly 8,000 of you watching us on Roku. Hello, good evening to all of you, and thank you. So let's go ahead. I'm going to try to do this show tonight. Go ahead and share everywhere. Right now, let's get those algorithms going up. Hit the like button, hit the love button, hit the whatever button you can find. And I know some of you are lazy. You're on the couch and you're watching me on the big screen, and there's no buttons for you to push. Well, then jump on your phone real quick and hit that like button, that love button, and that share. Help get this message out tonight. Hello, Marion Peters. Good evening to you. Good evening to everyone. I'm so glad to be here. We're going to be talking about so much tonight, as long as the internet holds up. If I start getting a bad signal, I'll finish it up Thursday night. Before we start this evening, I am heartbroken to announce that another member of Toto's army has passed away. There's a dear friend of mine that came to every one of our events. She was always representing the movement, Donald Trump, MAGA, Toto, and her name is Sue Shipman, and that's her in her MAGA hat and her Tabernacles t-shirt. She was at our retreat. She's been to every one of them. Her and her beloved husband, David Shipman, over in North Louisiana, around Alexandria, Louisiana. Miss Shipman was a true patriot. Miss Shipman lived every day to see Donald Trump restored to power. And there she is with her husband, David. I would like, I'll be preaching her funeral this Monday in Pineville, Louisiana. If any of Toto's armies would like to come and pay your respects in that area, we would love to have you. We would love to see you. And I'm sure that Sue would love to have met you. David, please accept my heartfelt condolences. We send our love to you, Mr. Shipman, tonight. I'm going to ask for just a moment of silence to remember the life of Miss Sue Shipman. Her death was a shock to me. She was also a member of my church, First Harvest Church, such a faithful member. And Sue loved me, and I loved Sue. And I tell you, it's going to just crush my heart not to see her at Passover. She already had reservations made for Passover, April the 2nd through the 6th. She already had her Tabernacles reservations made for October the 2nd through the 6th, where we have so many new people coming this year to both Passover and Tabernacles. And she was going to be there. So we honor her memory tonight. And we will miss you, Sue. Rest well, because in that great getting up morning, fare thee well, in that great getting up morning. We will see you again. South Carolina, it is your time to shine. February the 24th, 4 days. Y'all need to put Nikki Haley out to pasture, okay? South Carolina, I'm calling on you tonight to do whatever it takes, however long you got to stand in line, whatever you've got to do, wear your Depends, whatever you need to do, get there and vote, send Nikki Haley back home so Donald Trump can quit wasting energy and money on a primary that is already decided. So South Carolina, let's get busy. It's up to you to send Nikki Haley home. Tonight, I want to wish a happy birthday to one of my biggest followers, fans that I love so much, Miss Tony. She goes by Fat Paper Tiger on Rumble, but Miss Tony Silcox down from Pensacola, Florida. I don't call everybody's birthday out, but she is so special to me. Thank you, Tony. I love you. I wish you a grand happy birthday. May it be wonderful for you, Tony. Thank you for being one of Toto's Army's most faithful members. We are so glad that you have lived to see another birthday and that you'll live to see many more. So thank you so much, Tony. Happy birthday to you. And I do pray it is a great birthday. Y'all bear with me one second. There's something I'm looking for. I thought that I had downloaded it. I wanted to show you guys a couple of things. I'll tell you what, while I'm looking for this, I'm going to play you something. This weekend, I was in Pennsylvania. Actually, no, hold on. I found what I was looking for. I want to greet tonight this faithful member of Toto's Army, Mr. Bob Foltz. I believe Mr. Foltz is 90-something years old, and his daughter Lori sent me this video of Bob, and this is what he does.
Final destruction is those that know how to pray. God loves America. He's going to save America. And he's not just going to use Donald Trump to do it. He's going to use a little Mississippi preacher like me that will stir up a Toto's army that will believe that America has a purpose in the end times.
Mr. Foltz, thank you for being a member of Toto's Army. Guys, we have the most amazing people in this movement. And Mr. Bob Foltz, that just touched my heart so much. Thank you, Lori, for sending me that video of your father, a true patriot. And I was thrilled to see that today. I was in Pennsylvania this weekend. We were there, and we had a house full of people that came out for that great event there in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. It was amazing. The people that came out and the love that we felt. I want to thank everyone that came to that event in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. While I was there, I met someone that I want to introduce you to. I think this is it right here. Here it is. And this man came, he drove 4 hours to be at that event just to tell me the words he's going to tell you in this video. It touched my heart. It made what I do so worth it. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to put his job in jeopardy, but I would like for you to listen.
Yeah, really. Hey, everybody, I'm sorry. I want to introduce you to a man that came to our meeting in Pennsylvania, and he's a Toto follower. He's still checking Pastor Vaughn out, but he's a Toto follower. And I want him to tell you his testimony about the exemption letters. Brother, just tell him what you was telling me.
All right. So I work for a subsidiary of Halliburton, and I was going to be fired on December 17th, right before Christmas in 2020. I searched. I started to formulate my own exemption letter and realized that I didn't really have the information.
Right.
So I figured there must have been something somewhere that somebody's already done, and I found Professor Toto's exemption letter. I was going to be grilled by the company, by HR, and have to go through a series of interviews before I could keep my job, I guess, to prove that I wasn't actually a Christian.
How long had you had that job?
10 years.
10 years. Okay, go ahead.
And after presenting that letter and demanding that they give me back a copy, signed copy, like Professor Toto told us to do, they approved on the 17th. They approved my exemption without contest, so
With no
I
contest.
did not had to go through the interview process or anything. I just kept my job, and it really saved my career. And I thank Professor Toto for being as brave as he is. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
It means the world for me to hear that.
Those were real tears from real patriots that were going to lose their careers 3 years ago. And Yahweh used this ministry to save thousands and thousands of jobs and careers. And that man came all the way to Pennsylvania to say thank you. It reminded me of the story in the Bible where Jesus, Yeshua, healed a lot of sick people, but only one came back to say thank you. But you know, Yahweh has blessed me so much for those letters that we sent out to save careers. And so, brother, thank you. You made my day by coming and sharing your testimony with us. All right. I know everyone is wanting to know about Mar-a-Lago. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. From the beginning of this journey, whenever they arrested Donald Trump this year, I really felt that I was supposed to put my feet everywhere that he was dealing with a legal situation, because I've been there. And I felt like, to represent our church and our movement and the house of Israel, that I was to be wherever he was arrested and wherever he had a legal problem. So far, I've been good to that commitment. I've been every place that President Trump has been arrested. I've been there to pray and to put my feet on the ground and to believe and to help usher him back to the White House. That's been my calling. Well, as you know, we had received an invitation to come to Mar-a-Lago, and I had no idea that it would be on the day when Donald Trump would receive such horrible legal news, and he would be fined nearly $500 million. So Mar-a-Lago, the night we got there, was just hours after that horrible ruling. I didn't know how Donald Trump would show up to encourage us after he had received such devastating news. But he did. Oh, did he ever? But it was when I noticed that I was standing there on those grounds on that important date. And I'll tell you what happened right after I share with you. I'll show you quickly a few of our photos and videos. Now, here's the photo situation. When we first got there, I had my professional camera, and we were taking the few pictures. We got 3 or 4 before President Trump got there. Then I got caught with the professional camera, and we were told no photography because of copyrights for the president, what have you and whatnot. And so they made me show them all the pictures on the camera, and luckily it did not get confiscated. So we did get a few pictures, but before I show you the pictures, I want to show you what happened just before we got to Mar-a-Lago. The event, we were supposed to be there at 6:25 for the event. That's when we were supposed to be there, okay? Well, here's the deal. We were in Miami traffic, and I was sitting at the hotel looking at my laptop, the time on my laptop. I forgot I was in Eastern time. So I go tell my wife, I say, honey, we've got 45 minutes to be ready to leave. And she walked out of the door dressed and said, 45 minutes. She said, what time is it? And I said, I think I said 4:30, whatever time it was, 4:30. And when I told her that, she said, no, baby, it's an hour ahead of what you're thinking it is. And I looked at the clock, and we was too late. There's no way, it's a 2-hour drive to make it. No way at all, because I had my time. I was an hour behind. So I knew if we left right then that we would not make it. But oh, my wife went to praying. Did she ever? I ran in the shower, got dressed in 3 minutes, And we get in vehicle and the traffic is OMG, right? But I knew I was supposed to get my feet on the grounds at Mar-a-Lago. I knew that. I knew when I have an assignment from the Lord. And so we pull up to the buses where you're supposed to catch the bus. And we were 1 minute late. It was 6:26. We were supposed to be there at 6:25. We jump out of the vehicle and we're running literally to catch the bus. And as we're running, we're told that the bus just left. Now, you can't just pull up to Mar-a-Lago for these specific events. You have to go through security and ride the bus. I was heartbroken, but not my wife. She was over there praying and praying and praying. One of the purest, most godly women that I know of was praying for me to make it onto that ground. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you what they did for us. We made a call, told them that we were there, and here is what happened. 1 second, and I'll share that screen with you. It was amazing.
So we're at the pickup location, see my beautiful bride, at Mar-a-Lago, and traffic was so bad coming out of Miami that the last bus to leave to get into Mar-a-Lago was at 6:25. And we pulled into the pickup location at 6:25 and the bus was gone. And that was the last bus. And we talked to some wonderful people and prayed. My wife was over there praying to the Lord. And hey, can you flip the lights on in here? Let me show them what we got. And look what we got, y'all. Look what we got. Look, we got a whole, they sent a whole bus for us. Look. We got a whole bus now. They
chartered the whole bus.
Oh yeah. Isn't God good? Isn't he wonderful?
So there's that. Anyway, but we made it. That's the good news. We made it. And when we got there, this is the entrance to Mar-a-Lago there. And we were walking up there, and there was and then right inside, I want you to notice, if you can see it, there's my wife, and at the top, that beautiful picture of President Trump there. When we walked in, it felt like a king's castle. I'm telling you, there is no place in the world like Mar-a-Lago. No place. It is, I'm telling you, the bathroom is worth $18 million. Okay, so for them to value that at $18 million is the biggest joke of the year. But we went through and we had such a wonderful, wonderful visit. It was just beyond my ability to explain it. And when we got there, of course, here is the great President of the United States of America. And by the way, happy President's Day, Mr. Trump. It was so nice to see him that close and personal. And brothers and sisters, I'm going to tell you that this was the moment when he entered the building. When it was all over and he gave his speech, my wife and I, as we were leaving, we walked over to a private place on the land and we joined hands. There was nobody with us. And I told her, I said, let's pray right now. I knew it had been a hard day for President Trump, and we began to pray. And we prayed. I prayed exactly what I heard the Spirit of the Lord tell me to pray. When we got through praying, we opened our eyes and there was people standing all around us with tears in their eyes and saying how they could feel the presence of the Lord. And it was just the most beautiful evening. I can't explain it. Words cannot explain it. But it was wonderful, and I am a blessed man for having gone, and I look so forward to returning again in the future. I want to call a few names out tonight real quick, a few shout outs. I want to thank, first of all, before I give these shout outs, I was watching President Trump tonight with Laura Ingraham, and he's introduced a few new words that I like. One is migrant crimes. He's now calling migrant crimes, which is a good word. That's going to stick. And then he said something that caught my attention. He said, it is time for us all as patriots to go back to buying made in America products. And I've not heard that in a while. And he said, I'm going to be convincing people to start buying made in America products. And so, as you know, 3 years ago, we created the opportunity for all patriots to buy their household goods from Patriot-owned businesses. We call that the Patriots Buying Club. And we have several new members of that club today that I want to welcome to the Patriots Buying Club. Louis George Williams, Mr. Williams, Raven Stiltner, Donna Woodburn, Cindy Hages, Deb Tuttle, and Judy Patek, all brand new members of the Patriots Buying Club. They went to buybywalmart.com and they, ladies and gentlemen, made a decision to buy products made in America. Everything we have, except for I think our bubble gum, is made in America. And I'm so thankful that we have been able to provide this. I looked the other day, there are thousands of you, thousands. Thank you for that. And for those people that just joined up, thank you. If you would like to join our movement, we've taken $1 million away from millions from Walmart. Go to Buy by Walmart, just like it sounds, buybywalmart.com. Book an appointment today. Thank you so much, everyone that has joined. Also, we are giving away a free Donald Trump silver coin. We're giving one away every week. On Thursday nights, we're going to start giving away a valuable, I think I just looked at those, and they're selling for right at $300 right now, those 1 ounce coins. You're going to get one free. All you have to do is register to win. That's it. And to do that, you simply go to godsmoney.info. Go there right now, godsmoney.info, and book an appointment with us. And where it says notes, put the word Trump. That's all you have to do. Book whatsoever and put the word Trump in the memo section, and you will be registered to win next Thursday night a Donald Trump coin. Now, I know a lot of you have forgotten about Liz Cheney, but I want to show you something that popped up on my news feed today. Out of nowhere, the headlines: Liz Cheney is considering being a contender in the 24 presidential race. I have had my eyes on this girl for 2 years pretty much. And she tells in her last interview that she may very well be running for president. I told you so. Oh, I told you so. Donald Trump are saying, what they're admitting to. And I'm just going to play the first part of this because I need you to hear that they understand what's really going on. Listen carefully.
A subject matter that's very, very important that I think is necessary before I get into the tweets and close out today's show. Ladies and gentlemen, Trump's going to get reelected. Donald Trump's going to be the next president of the United States. If this kind of stuff that I'm reading,
I agree with you, sir. They all know it, folks. This is an enemy of Donald Trump that's telling his people, we are going to get him reelected because of all the attacks, all of the lawfare, everything that we're doing to Donald Trump. We are going to get him reelected. We have said that from the beginning. That is exactly what is happening. And brothers and sisters, we are 9 months away from delivering this baby of victory. The name of the baby is Victory. And we are 9 months away from this. We're 9 months away from Scream 2. Ladies and gentlemen, Scream 2 is about to hit a theater near you. I hope that you are ready for what is about to happen. Well, while we're waiting for what's about to happen, we might as well run over to the land of Oz. I've got some things to show you down the yellow brick road.
I am Oz, the great and powerful. Who are you?
Do you presume to criticize the great Oz? You ungrateful creatures think yourselves lucky that I'm giving you audience tomorrow instead of 20 years from now.
Oh,
The great Oz has spoken.
oh,
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Oz. Here we are in the land of Oz with the flying monkeys and Glinda Goodwitch. Oh, yes, I see you out there. Here's where we are. We are in a world now where the consequences of our choices have come in home to roost. I want to show you one of those. This, what I'm about to show you, is in, I believe, New York City on Randall's Island. And this is where they are housing the illegal immigrants. And one of them was being arrested. And here is the result. This is what's invading our country, not peace-loving immigrants. We have an army that is invading our country, a literal army that is invading our nation. And right here, all of the police are being attacked by this army. All of our police are being attacked by this army. This is where we are, and this is what's coming all over the nation. In the land of Oz, where we are at right now, you can let everyone come in. And when you do, they're already lawbreakers when they come. While we're in the land of Oz, we might as well.
I was sort of raised in the Puerto Rican community at home. More than half the women in my cabinet, more than half the people in my cabinet, more than half of the women in my administration are women. We have 1,000 billionaires in America. You know the average tax rate they pay? 8, E-I-G-H%. 8%. I hibernated in a while, Iowa for a while, but if I can digress for just a second. Last night I was on television. I was on the telephone. And she was forced to have to travel out of the state to Indiana to seek to terminate the presidency and maybe save her life. That's last part is my judgment. So the best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to,
Anyway, that's the land of Oz. That's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. It seems like the world is falling apart all around us in that land of Oz. And there's something that happened in New York that I got to show you. because when I saw this, I knew I was in the land of Oz. Had no doubt I was in the land of Oz. So this was in St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City. In a so-called holy church, there was a funeral for the biggest transgender activist in New York. I believe the name is Cecilia Gentili, born a man, died a man, but anyway, a transgender atheist prostitute. And they fill up, the Catholic Church there has not had that many people in forever. That's what the priest said. And I want to show you what filed its way into God's church, quote unquote. And what's interesting is when they were eulogizing Cecilia Gentili, they called her this name. They called her this whore, this great whore. I found that to be very interesting in that specific church to use that title, the whore, the great whore. That's what they said in that building. Here's a few pictures of the crowd. The crowd filled the church, and everyone there was either transgendered, LBT, whatever. And this is what happened.
That no one can say you cannot do it.
Esta puta, esta gran puta.
One thing for sure, if you want to fill the church up, all you got to do is say what the people want to hear, and you'll fill it up all the time, just like that. So that was an LGBTQ party in St. Patrick's Cathedral here in the land of Oz. While we're in the land of Oz, while we're here, I just received news that the church that Mike Johnson attends, Speaker Mike Johnson, the church that he attends, that there has been something happen at that church.
Suspicious package sent to a Northwest Louisiana church has led to an FBI investigation. And KSLA News 12's Donna Keel was on the scene and explains how this ties back to House Speaker Mike Johnson. Donna, what can you tell us?
Bisky, I was at Cypress Baptist Church in Bossier Parish today, where first responders reacted after a letter containing a white substance.
That is not all that. You know, I think last week Lakewood Church was attacked by a former member that has become a transgender, angry, went in and just began shooting. As a matter of fact, attacks on churches have increased 800% in the last 5 years. A new report come out by the Family Research Council, and here is in the last 5 years, when I tell you the Nephilim has been released on God's church, 709 acts of vandalism, 135 arsons, 32 bomb threats, 22 gun incidents, and 61 other incidents, including assault, threats, and interruption of worship services. Ladies and gentlemen, there is something released upon the earth that is causing men to become animals. Last year, in my church, I had a brand new vehicle, and literally someone took and poured a substance in the gas tank and destroyed my engine, a brand new engine. Yesterday, we received a veiled threat of death that we've had to forward to the police department. I want to tell every one of you something. There is something released upon the earth. Hate. People hate. They hate now in a way I've never seen them before. Hatred is filling the land. The Bible said in the last days, the love of many will grow cold. That is where we are. And, I'm just calling on everyone. Don't let hate get in your heart. Check yourself. Politics is not worth it. Nothing is worth it to get hate in your heart. We need people to calm down. We need people to slow down and realize at the end of the day, we must have the love of God in our hearts towards one another. It's a dangerous jungle that we're all living in out here now. So, if there's hate in your heart tonight, learn to let things go. Just let it go. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to attack and destroy people. Satan does that. Please, those of you that are watching me tonight, release it. Get rid of it out of your heart. Just like this, let me show you a level of hate for us from the so-called President of the United States of America.
But the legal path just took Trump back to the truth. That I had won the election and he was a loser. Well, so knowing how his mind works now, he had one act left, one desperate act available to him: the violence of January the 6th. And since that day, more than 1,200 people have been charged for their assault on the Capitol. Nearly 900 of them have been convicted or pled guilty. Collectively, to date, they have been sentenced to more than 840 years in prison. And what's Trump done? Instead of calling them criminals, he's called these insurrectionists patriots.
Because that's exactly what they are. I want you to imagine with me what the world's reaction would be if a leader of a foreign country would get up and brag about the number of political protesters and dissidents that they had imprisoned because they protested his election. Here is Joe Obama bragging about his political prisoners and how many years he's given them, because it's happening right here in America, because they protested his fake residency. Imagine if this was in any other nation of the world, what we would say about that leader, that he was bragging about his political prisoners. Listen to me, folks. This is where we are right now in the world. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump released a statement concerning the death of, what's his name? Natasky, I believe, from Russia. You know, the one that Putin supposedly killed. Well, Donald Trump released a statement. And boy, that statement has got the mainstream media stirred up. He was talking about how that Putin, if he did kill this political opponent, that it's sort of like what's happening right now in our own country. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, did he stir up a hornet's nest with that statement. You know why? It's the truth. If you want to get people mad at you, I'm talking about angry, preach the truth. Say the truth, and it will anger them. Just watch what Morning Mika over with Joe Scarborough had to say about that.
So 3 days after Alexei Navalny died in a Siberian prison, Donald Trump finally addressed the tragedy yesterday and made it about himself. In a social media post, the likely 2024 Republican presidential nominee compared Navalny's death to his own situation, writing in part, quote, "The sudden death of Alexei Navalny has made me more and more aware of what is happening in our country," adding, quote, "We are a nation in decline, a failing nation."
And that is the absolute truth, and they cannot stand the truth. What he said was, hey, if Putin killed his political opponent, how is that any different than getting up and bragging how you have imprisoned all these members? Listen to what Joe Scarborough called you and me. You know, they're against hate. Biden's supposed to bring the nation together. Let's see how this sounds for bringing the nation
Why
together.
am I so angry? Why am I so angry about this? Because these are attacks on America. These aren't just attacks on Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. There are a few words. You have these freaks, weirdos, insurrectionists, radicals on the far right. They're not even the right now. They're in the Trump death cult of a death cult for American democracy. And to make those comparisons are so grotesque.
He called me and you members of the cult of death. Did you hear it? You are part of the cult of death. Let me explain something. Anytime you're loyal to a man in any shape, form, or fashion, whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's your pastor, whether it's your mentor, that makes you a member of a cult. Notice what he said. He said, we're all cult members. Why? Because we're loyal to Donald Trump. We believe in the message that Donald Trump has preached to America. We believe in make America great again, make her first again. We believe the message. And that makes us all members of the cult of death. They are out to destroy the man. They are out to destroy him, literally charging him $500 million. They want to bankrupt him. Why? Because God knew who to choose for this battle. God had to choose a man that had the money to fight back. See, they picked the wrong guy. They thought that this $500 million was going to knock him out. But I found out moments ago that Donald Trump has already posted his bond, his $400 million bond with the court to appeal the ruling. They wasn't expecting that. Everybody said he don't have that much cash. But what you don't understand, God would not have chose him for this battle if he was broke. God knew they were going to throw everything at him. He knew they were going to throw everything at him. So he got a man that could afford to fight back. Donald Trump said at Mar-a-Lago the other night, they've already raised enough money to pay the fine. And now his sneakers are going for $3.99. They probably cost $20 to make. And they're sold out. The enemy hates a man that cannot be destroyed. I've never understood why people don't get the memo about Donald Trump. Anyone that God anoints, you can't destroy them. All you're doing is making yourself more miserable every day. They are out to destroy the man, but the man, God chose the man that had the money and the ability to fight back. That's why yesterday I donated to the GoFundMe to help pay his fine. It's already over $1 million in less than 24 hours, I believe. And what I'm telling you tonight, they don't understand. They are attacking us. And I'm proud to say that the Patriots Buying Club, our manufacturer, has donated $1 million to Donald Trump. He is not going down no matter how hard they try. And let me show you why they wanted to try him in New York City. The reason they have to do it is because there is no impartial jury anywhere in New York. If you don't believe me, just watch this.
I got a room full of New Yorkers right here. Let me check. How do you feel about Trump facing criminal justice?
Bunch of dummies. Has anybody noticed gold shoes? Gold shoes? Why make gold shoes at this particular time? I mean, think about it, folks. Gold shoes? Could there be a message in those gold shoes? And these boots were made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One day these boots are going to walk all over you. Who knows? Oh, man, I tell you, you just never know, do you? You never know. So, brothers and sisters, we are not members of the cult of death. We are members of the cult of life, if you will. Now, I want to talk to you a few minutes about Donald Trump. And I want to show you right now, you're going to see something right now that's going to show you with absolute clarity the double tier of justice in this nation. Now, I want you to watch closely. When you see this start, it's about Granny Fani or Fulton Fani. It was not even her time to come into the courtroom. She literally came in uninvited. And if you'll notice, she comes in strangely with her dress on backwards. Notice when she sits there, look, you'll see the zipper on the outside of the dress. Maybe she was drinking so much back in the back, I don't know, but she comes literally, I mean, who goes to court with their dress on backwards? And I want you to watch this now as Queen Jezebel herself, this loud-mouthed woman that defies every man in that room, every judge defies them. Jezebel hates male authority. She hates any authority. And watch this, and I want you to see what the queen of Jezebels look like.
And then suddenly he's changing. She files her financial declarations, same problems.
I would ask.
Did you notice that? She walked in, all the attorneys are looking at her like, what are you doing here? She walks in and takes over the courtroom. And now, what defendant is able to go and demand records that they want in their hands right now? Watch this. While you're watching it, keep in mind that in the courtroom of Judge Ignoramus, Donald Trump was not even allowed to speak. If he wanted to say anything, his lawyers had to tell the judge exactly what he was going to say. And then the judge would decide if he could say it. Now compare that to Jezebel.
I need 3 documents in front of me, and they're the 3 filings.
Maybe that dress is on backwards. Maybe her and old Nate had been in the back.
What's up, Miss Merchant? 3 filings. Does anyone have the 3 filings of Miss Merchant? Does the court have the 3 filings of Miss Merchant?
All right.
I'll sit here and wait for him.
Did you listen to any arguments?
I did hear the arguments this morning. It's ridiculous to me that you lied on Monday, and yet here we still are. And I did listen to that argument.
I think you'll have more than enough ample opportunity on when the state was able to.
It's highly offensive when someone lies on you, and it's highly offensive when they try to implicate that you slept with somebody the first day you met with them.
First of all, let's not gaslight. This is not about you sleeping with somebody the first night you met them. So let's not do that.
And I take exception to it.
All right. Well, Ms. Willis, you'll have the opportunity to explain all of that when it's the state's turn to ask more open-ended questions.
Yeah.
Ms. Merchant, I think we have.
I very much want to be here, so I'm not a hostile witness. I very much want to be
Not
here.
so much that you're hostile, Ms. Willis. It'd be an adverse.
Who gets to talk like that in a courtroom? Who? Do you? Do you get to talk like that in a courtroom? Did Donald Trump?
Witness, your interests are opposed to Ms. Merchant's.
Ms. Merchant's interests are contrary to democracy, Your Honor, not to mine.
All right, let's proceed. We can keep things moving. Ms. Merchant, next question, please.
Okay, so we've confirmed when you met. After that, isn't it true?
No, I need to explain this, and I think I get to explain my.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Has anybody ever been to court? Have you ever heard when the attorney is questioning someone and they want to answer further, they say, that's all, ma'am. That will be it. That's it. That yes or no. No, you don't get to do it, Fanny, Granny, Jezebel, Queen.
Answers. So after that, you started dating shortly thereafter, correct?
A lie. That's one of your lies. Okay. There were some times that I would give her cash, but mostly I paid her via Cash App. That would be the most convenient thing. Oh, the vast majority was Cash App. I don't know what percentage. I'm not going to guess that, but the vast majority was Cash App.
I know he initially paid for it. Did you pay him back?
For the cruise and for Aruba, yeah, I gave him his money before we ever went on that trip.
You gave him cash before you ever went on the trip?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so when you got cash to pay him back on these trips, would you go to the ATM?
No, lady.
You would not go to the ATM?
No. I have money in my house.
You have money in your house. So it was just money that was there.
When you meet my father, he's going to tell you as a woman, you should always have, which I don't have, so let's don't tell him that. You should have at least 6 months in cash at your house at all times.
So my question was, where did that cash originally come from, if it didn't come out of the bank?
Cash is fungible. I had cash for years in my house. So for me to tell you the source of when it comes from, I took out a large amount of money on my first campaign. I kept some of the cash of that. Like
October of 2022.
Illegal, illegal, illegal. She said, I just took cash from my campaign and kept some of that. Is anybody awake in that courtroom? Illegal.
You do not know where that money came from.
I do know where it came from. It came from my sweat and tears. My house.
It didn't come from your sweat and tears. It came from your campaign fund.
And I'm sorry if I was not clear. The money would be wherever I laid my head. So I wouldn't leave the money at the house. So if I was unclear, no. Money's going to be where I stay. To you getting records. You've been intrusive into people's personal lives. You're confused. You think I'm on trial.
You are on trial. You are, repeat after me, you are on trial. You're sitting in a witness stand. You're on trial.
People are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
Wrong. God, I wish I was the attorney.
So my question was, has he ever visited you at the place you laid your head?
So let's be clear, because you lied in this. Let me tell you which one you lied in. Right here. I think you lied right here. No. This is the truth, Judge. And it is a.
No. The judge is speaking to her. And she's telling the judge no. These people are out of control.
It is.
When I look at this and I compare that to the way Donald Trump was treated, baby, there is no more argument that we have a two-tier justice system in this nation. Just like in New York, the state of New York appears determined to destroy its own economy to get Trump. Just before the weekend, Judge Ignoramus took control of Donald Trump's business empire and put it in the hands of a former Clinton appointed judge and fined the company $500 million. But good news, this is great news, by the way. The judge walked back his decision to shut Donald Trump's businesses down. Now he's decided not to dissolve Trump's licenses, so we do have a victory there. And that happened, I think, just a day or two ago. But Governor Kathy Hochul knows that this looked so bad for business in New York that she said something that everybody needs to pay close attention to. She said the quiet part out loud. Listen closely.
The law-abiding and rule-following New Yorkers who are business people have nothing to worry about because they're very different than Donald Trump and his behavior.
The businesses in New York have nothing to worry about. She said because this is really an extraordinary, unusual circumstance. And what she meant to say was it's a circumstance reserved for Donald Trump. Don't worry, business owners. We are never going to use this against you. This was created for Donald Trump. This governor admitted that Lawfare that they have deployed against the Trump organization was specifically planned for his target and any other business in New York need not be concerned. Basically, she said, we would never use these laws on anyone but Donald Trump. It was a plan specifically for him. And Judge Ignoramus, now here's why Donald Trump is going to win that appeal. Because Judge Ignoramus don't even know the meaning of fraud. And when this gets appealed, you're going to find out how ignorant this judge is. It will be revealed. New York, you have made such a mistake with Letitia James. You have made such a mistake in what you are doing that even the wealthy people in New York understand what you've done. The guy on Shark Tank, I thought I had the video clip of it, but I don't have it. He told them, we're all pulling out. We are not safe as business investors in New York City. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me explain something about Fani Willis and all of these people. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 2. When pride comes, then cometh shame, but with the lowly is wisdom. Fani Willis, you could have avoided a career-ending mistake. You are forever marred. You are no longer who you dreamed you were. You could have done it all if you would have taken your lawyer's advice and not brought this to trial. Her own lawyer begged her not to do it. Willis has suffered a defeat in front of the whole world. Fani Willis has badly embarrassed herself. Why? She attacked God's servant. And now, yes, she is on trial. Do you remember my class where I talked to you about Haman's noose? How it would get tighter and tighter and tighter on the enemies of Donald Trump? Well, that's where we are. Fani, you could have avoided it all, but you made a wretched mistake. Jezebel always falls out of the window, and the dogs always lick up her blood. She screams and brings fear to the man of God. Do you know that Elijah, the greatest prophet that ever lived, lost his ministry because a Jezebel tried to make him afraid? She always threatened him. Why? Because he spoke truth to her, and she did not want to hear it. And she threatened him, I'm going to destroy you, she said. Whatever it takes. And sadly, Elijah ran 16 miles in one day. Because this spirit knows they can't destroy you. But that's not what they're trying to do. They want to make you run. They want to make you afraid. And the reason they hate Donald Trump is because they've never seen a glimmer of fear in his eyes. He's anointed. He has no fear. He's in the perfect plan of Yahweh for his life. And this woman is finding out now, you will always come out the loser when you fight against what God has blessed. You cannot curse what God has blessed. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but I want to show it to you. I want to show you because this just came out not long ago, I think of 2 days ago on President's Day. This is coming from the American Political Science Association. And this is the graph of presidential greatness. This is the very people that indoctrinate your children at colleges and universities throughout the United States. This survey should make every parent think twice about whether to pay the exorbitant tuition to have political science professors miseducate your children. Now, I want to say this about this graph. I want you to look at it closely. This is supposedly the greatest and the worst presidents came out on President's Day. This is an attempt to take down Donald Trump. And they are coming from every institution after this man. The real question is it really about Donald Trump? No, it's not. Donald Trump is the head of everything they hate. So let's go through their list. And I want you to notice the politics in this graphic. Normally, on any list of great American presidents, you always have either George Washington or Abraham Lincoln as number one. In this case, you have Abraham Lincoln as number one. But ironically, George Washington is not number two. No. Who is number two? Oh my God. Maybe one of the most socialist presidents we've ever had, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. You know, he was president during the Great Depression and then created the Great Deal, the economic garbage policy. He initiated all of these vast government overspending programs that have crippled America, created the welfare state, and led to a $34 trillion national debt. Put FDR above George Washington? That tells you everything you need to know. But it doesn't end there. Then we get Teddy Roosevelt at number 4. Who was Teddy Roosevelt? A progressive and a believer in the power of big government. Then you have Thomas Jefferson, Harry Truman, and Barack Obama at number 7. Now, you know as well as I do, there's no possible way that Obama is the 7th greatest president of all time. He's clocking in above Eisenhower, James Madison, John Adams, Ronald Reagan. He's above all of those men. That's insanity. Obama was a terrible president. He wildly exacerbated racial divisions in the United States. He presided over the complete dissolution of American power around the world. He downgraded the American military, wrecked us in the foreign sphere. He polarized America as no president in history has done, not only on race, but culture and sexuality. We moved from a country where in 2008, Obama campaigned as a proponent of traditional marriage to a country where by the time he left office, there was open discussions about whether men were even women. Think about it. He presided over the worst recovery from an economic recession in American history. He spent more money than all prior presidents combined, and yet he's number 7. And then Lyndon B. Johnson, who initiated the Great Society, spent $13 trillion on anti-poverty programs. This is the same guy that lost the Vietnam War and completely rewrote the constitutional relationship between the government and the private American citizen. Then you have Bill Clinton, number 12, and Joe Biden at number 14, ranked above Ronald Reagan, who led the most booming economic recovery in modern American history in the 1980s, who created the groundwork for defeating the Soviet Union, is ranked at number 16. Woodrow Wilson, the worst president of all time, a racist that led us to war in World War I, created the system that led us to World War II, jailed his political opponents for sedition, created the bureaucratic state, is above Ronald Reagan. And then, surprise, 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 number 45 is our beloved president, America's greatest friend. Why did I teach you that tonight? Because you need to know the battle we're fighting is real. Demon powers are in the hearts of people. They are trying to convince your mind he's the worst president. And then they're trying to convince you that FDR was the 2nd greatest president in history. That should prove to you who wrote this and who is promoting it. I want to talk to you tonight, before I go, about why Donald Trump is going to win in the Supreme Court on the 14th Amendment. I've taught you before on the 14th Amendment, but tonight I want to go deeper. So if you've got your notebook, wake up. I don't have my bell to wake you up tonight. Wake up and let me take you on a quick journey and prove to you why Donald Trump will win in the Supreme Court against, or rather, the 14th Amendment, Section 3. It's all because of one word. And I want to take you to class now and teach you the one word. That word is originalism. Put that in your notes. Originalism. Can I teach you what originalism is? Thank you. Give me just a few more minutes, then I'll let some of my old timers get to bed, okay? Let's talk about originalism just so you can understand it. It is a legal doctrine that I personally adhere to. I consider myself an originalist, both when I study the Constitution and the Word of God. Have you ever heard it said that two people can read one verse of Scripture and get two total different interpretations from it? And that's true. Do you know why that is? One person reads it as a textualist or an originalist, whereas the other person reads it in their current understanding, the way they think. The way that you think has to move out of the way for originalism. Originalism is that legal document that states that any text should be understood as it would have been written at that time. Did you get it? That's originalism, where you have to read a text and you cannot read it according to what it means to you. That's why when I go to Bible studies and they tell people, tell me what that means to you, I just cringe, because it doesn't matter what that means to you. What matters is, what did it mean to the man that wrote it? How would he have understood that in his day? All right? So the Constitution of the United States of America cannot be understood with a modern way of thinking. You have to go back to that 200, 300 years ago and think as an originalist, all right? And I want to present a quote to you from James Madison, 1826. He said, "Many important errors may be produced by mere innovations in the use of words and phrases, if not controlled by a recurrence to the original and authentic meaning attached to them." All right? Let me give you an example. Right now, if you were to call me and say, "Professor Toto, what are you doing?" And I would say to you, "Oh, bruh, I'm just chilling." Okay. Now, what if you were to tell that to James Madison? What if you would have told James Madison, "I'm just chilling"? James Madison would have said, "Well, then put on a sweater, don a coat," because the meaning of the words are completely worlds apart now. And when you read the Bible or the Constitution, you must dig for the meaning of the word at that time. That's why in my Bible study, I don't go to the dictionary. I go down to the Hebrew and the Greek, because I want to know what those words meant at the time they were written. When reading the Constitution or the Word of God, you cannot read it from your current understanding of certain words or phrases. but how the writer would have understood it. For example, if I was to tell you right now that a couple, let's say a boy and a girl, they're courting, they're lovers, they love each other. And I tell you, if you say, where are they at right now? And I say, oh, they're in hell. You would look at me and be like, oh, don't judge them to hell. But what you don't know, the word hell in Old English was a secret place, a hiding place. You know, when two boyfriend and girlfriend go necking in the car, we call that parking now, right? Well, back in the day, it was called a hell. So for you to, if I was to tell you that now, you wouldn't know that unless you are an originalist, okay? So anyone can preach from that one line that I just told you and preach that all courting couples are going to hell. No, 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 no. They're in a hell. The Constitution, that's why when someone tells me, I don't need all that Hebrew and Greek, I read it the way it's written. You can read it the way it's written, but you must also understand how it was written that way. Let's talk about the 14th Amendment now, and let's go back in Article 3 to the original meaning, okay? Because the enemy is trying to use this against President Trump. Luckily, 5 of the judges on the Supreme Court self-identify as originalist. So there's hope here for our president, okay? You cannot just read insurrection and think you know what it means, all right? When the 14th Amendment was first written, Section 3 was intended as a way to make sure former Confederates could not return to office. That was the intent. That was the original intent. While the states themselves could forgive these people and they could serve in state governments, they could not, if they had fought in the rebellion, become a federal officer. Now, this was brought up by Trump's lawyers in this case. The final wording of Section 3 is clear. It is plain. The historical background is plain. It is clear that President Trump was excluded from the language because it was not what the writers were worried about regarding the Confederates. They were not worried about Donald Trump having a political rally with a few people that got out of hand, something that was unplanned, something, an insurrection is planned. A riot is not. Okay? This was what happened on January the 6th, and it has nothing to do with what the founders intended. Then, what is an officer of the United States? You cannot say what one is. You can only go by what the founders thought it was. Donald Trump is in a unique position because he is not an officer of the United States. Section 3 lists many positions that a person might have held prior to being in a resurrection. The only thing missing is the presidency. Why is that? Because this was not intended for the president. The office of the president is not a position that a person can be disqualified from in Section 3. I could go on and on and on. I could teach for this for hours and never get done with it. But I've come to tell you tonight that this is going to be what sets Trump free in the court of law, is the original intent. Hold on. He's coming. I promise you. We're almost there, everybody. It won't be long, and we will see the return of this great president to help restore America and cleanse the swamp. Have hope tonight. Go to rest with hope. What kind of hope? That help is on the way. You can trust that tonight. You can know that. Don't let anyone persuade you otherwise. If you don't believe it, who will? Thank you, America. I'll see you all Thursday night. Bye-bye.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I'd thank my lucky stars to be living here today.
'Cause this flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away.
Defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land.
God bless the USA.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea,
from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA,
where there's pride in every American heart.